What's up, guys? This is Liam from Breaking Records Fitness here. Just thought I'd give you guys a quick tutorial on how to use our PARQ forms and other forms that we have available. So we're going to basically cover the normal PARQ form as well as the PARMEDX as well as the PARMEDX pregnancy form. And if we get time at the end, I'll explain to you guys on the photo video release form too. So what you need to do is go to our website, which is www.breakingrecordsfitness.co.uk, which you can see at this top here, and it will take you through to our homepage just here. So if you go to the About section and just move the mouse where it says downloads, that you just need to click. And from there, if you just scroll down to here you'll find our forms you can download from our website to get started. That all of our forms are electronic PDF files that are fillable online and that you do not need to print the forms off. If once you're done filling out the forms in, you can email the completed form back to us straight away, which is highly recommended. Alternatively, you can print the forms off and fill it out by hand. And more can be found on our terms and conditions page regarding the environment/sustainability section. And just a note, guys, that the external signatures must be signed by a local GP, such as if you are using a PARMEDX or PARMEDX pregnancy forms below, and that's just to gain clearance to participate in the exercise. Okay, so what we're going to do, folks, if you just go to the PARQ form just on here, and it will take you to this section. So this is your personal details page on here. There's the applicant information as well as your contact details, your emergency contact details. Your declaration is just at the bottom there. So as you can see, these blue boxes that are shaded in, if you just click on that first one there, this is your first name. I'm just going to put Liam as an example. So basically you can actually fill this out very successfully and just continue filling this out on the form. And then when you get to the declaration bit here, that you have written and understood that your details are correct, and within the privacy notice that by filling out this form, including your PARQ form, that your privacy is important to us, that we store your information safely in a professional manner, and that you'll also receive emails from us to keep up to date with our services. You can unsubscribe at any time at your own consent, and please be aware that you're likely to refill this form out again later if you do decide to participate with us again in the future. And we can also reserve the right to terminate this form if you haven't been active with our services for a period of time. So once you're happy with that, you just need to put your full name in. Your signature, we do ask that you could actually just put your initials, you could put your full name in, it doesn't really matter. As long as that you just type it in, that's all it matters. And then if you come down to this section here, which is the physical activity readiness questionnaire form, or short for PARQ. So it'll take you through a series of questions that you need to tick yes or no. So these are the no sections here. And on the other side, we have the yeses section. Okay. So on the declaration bit there, once you're done, if you've answered yes to any of the questions above, please complete a PARMEDX form to complete another further screening before taking part in the physical activity or exercise session. And it may be necessary for you to refer to your GP if the PARMEDX form you have answered yes to further screening questions, which I will come to in a moment. If you have answered no to the PARMEDX form for further screening, you would be able to take part in the physical activity or exercise sessions. And the last bit is that if you've answered no to all questions from the above, you can be reasonably sure that you can safely take part in the physical activity or exercise sessions, but please ensure that you begin slowly, warm up appropriately, and progress slowly. And the last one is that if you have answered one of the yeses to question 8 on the antenatal section, so that's either the first, second, or third trimester, that the form for this is required for you to fill out and gain clearance by your local GP. And then from there, the assumption of risk is just to declare that you've read and understood and answered honestly to all the questions above. and that you've read, understood and complete this questionnaire, and that any questions I had were answered to my full satisfaction. So all you need to do is just put your name, your signature, and then your date. And once you've done that, you just need to basically email that over to us once you filled it out online, and that way it would save us having to have the forms that are already printed off. So on here now, if you go to paramedics pregnancy form, if you've answered yes to question 8, so on this first page here is that as you've previously filled out a PARQ form and have answered yes to the pregnancy question for antenatal only, these further screening questions helps us to gain a better understanding about your current pregnancy situation. So the main questions, as you can see on page 1, is highlighted in yellow, and it is for you to fill out only. The next page, on the second one, is to follow for the local GP that you do need to see to gain clearances for them to fill out. And the reason why we do have to do this is that we do hold a level 3 adapted exercise for ante and postnatal clients fitness qualification, which is the reason for this form to ask for further details. So this first page here is a series of yes and no questions, as well as some questions that you do need to explain below and any activities in that you currently do. Once you've filled the first page out, you'll see here it's local GP use only. So the second page is for you to visit your local GP to fill out in order to give the participant, as in yourself, the all clear to exercise with no issues. If the GP has declared you not safe to exercise due to absolute contraindications, which is the first set of questions here, that unfortunately we wouldn't take on the participant at this present time. If the participant wasn't relative contraindications, which is the second question series on here, then it is safe to exercise with supervision from medical GP's advice, but otherwise close monitoring will be required. The main questions are in italics and highlighted in yellow. So these are the ones in here. And then the physical activity recommendations is that if they are approved or approved with conditions or not safe to exercise, then obviously the GP would have to tick those on here. So the GP use is that I, as a GP practice, declare the participant is safe to exercise and have issued with the patient's plans to participate in physical activity during their current pregnancy and have his or her approval to begin participation. That I've answered no to all questions above the GP use only. If I have answered yes to any relative contraindications, then the participant is safe to exercise with conditions to meet with GP's advice. If I've answered yes to any of the absolute contraindications, then the participant is not safe to exercise. That the GP should send this form back directly to update for our records, and please sign to say the participant is not cleared to do exercise below. So for patient use, obviously, is that if you could just kindly take this form as well as your PARQ form to your local GP to gain clearance to participate in exercise as seen below for GP to sign, and it can either be the practice manager or nurse as an alternative. If they are unsure of this declaration form, please contact us directly from page 1 of the details provided, or they can actually watch the video as seen on the playlist on our YouTube page. So for the GP clearance there, if they are approved or approved with conditions, they just need to sign this middle bit here. If they do not have any clearance whatsoever for absolute contraindication only, they just need to put their name, signature and date at the bottom and just send the form back directly. Okay, so that is the pregnancy form already sorted. So basically, if you are needing to fill out a paramedics form, so you just need to click on this box here. And basically, this is a medical examination form you do need to fill in if you've answered yes to any of the PARQ form screen questions. So this is the further screen questions that it helps us to gain a better understanding about your medical conditions. And the main questions are in italics, which is in 1, 2, 3, vice versa up to 10. And they are highlighted in yellow. And if you've answered yes to any of the main questions, if the medical condition is currently present, then you need to answer the sub-questions provided and see declaration below. And the reason for this is that we do hold a level 3 diploma in GP exercise referral fitness qualification for the reason of this form to ask for further details. So let's just say that I've got high blood pressure as an instance. So I'm going to tick no to the osteoporosis, cancer and cardiovascular. So when you get to the high blood pressure bit here, say I do have it as an example, then I click the yes button here. And for the sub questions here, do I have difficulty controlling your condition with medications or other physician prescribed therapies, then I just take a no tick to that. But if I have a resting blood pressure equal to or greater than 160/90, I can tick a no. But let's just say as an example that I have ticked a yes, then obviously it would be more necessary for you to actually go and see your GP to ensure whether yourself as a participant would be able to partake in any form of exercise. So let's just say if I go all the way down, tick no to all these questions there. So you do need to read those carefully, by the way, guys. And when you get to the declaration bit on here, if you have answered yes to any of the further screen questions about your medical conditions and there are issues highlighted, then as I said, it would be necessary for you to be referred to your GP before you start any physical activity or exercise for advice. Please do take this form as well, is your PARQ form, to your local GP to basically gain clearance to participate in exercise as seen below for GP to sign. And it can either be your practice manager or nurse as an alternative to sign if doctor obviously is not available. And if they are unsure of this declaration form to sign, then they can contact me directly on page 1 with the details provided. So if you've answered no on the paramedics form for further screening about your medical conditions, that there are no issues, then you would be able to take part in physical activity or exercise sessions without needing a GP approval signature. But please ensure that you begin slowly, warm up appropriately, and progress slowly. So all you need to do is just put your name, signature, and date on here. But if you are seeing a GP for clearance, then you do need to take this form in for them to put their name, signature, and date. If the participant is cleared to do exercise and physical activity only. If they are not, then the GP use can reserve the right to terminate this form immediately, that you would not be safe to partake in any form of exercise. And just this last bit for you guys is that I'm just going to take you through to the photo video release form, just on here. And basically it's just to give permission on images captured during workout activities through video, photo and digital camera. So this is us obviously promoting stuff on social media via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, website, Instagram, and all that sort of stuff. But this form is only available for participants that are enrolled for strength and conditioning courses or workshops, team sport group, and as well as express group training for our charity event services only. So if you are, say, a participant that is doing strength and conditioning personal training 1-to-1, or express group training for group, corporate, personal training, is made separate along with the agreement. If you are currently doing fitness classes with us, you do not need to fill out this form whatsoever because it's more kind of local community based. So if you don't want permission for all that use, you can tick this box and just print your name on here. If that you do, then you just need to print your name and sign. If the person's under 16, then they need to print their name and sign on here. And once you've done with all the forms, that whichever ones you've completed, then basically just send it back to us directly via email, and that we can basically store all your information onto our system. If you decide, as I said, to print out the forms and fill it out by hand, you can do, and basically return it to us on the day of your session, like say fitness classes or personal training, anything like that whatsoever. So I'm Liam, and thank you for watching our tutorial guide on how to use the forms successfully. And if you've got any questions, please feel free to let us know and we'll get back to you.